What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you a step-by-step approach on how you can do your first chin-up or your first pull-up. I'm going to show you a couple of common mistakes that a lot of people make when they're trying to do that, as well as some really good valuable training tips you could implement into your routine so you could achieve your first pull-up or chin-up. At the end of the video, I'm also going to share some programming tips to allow you to kind of understand how many reps, sets, and kind of tempo that you should be doing with the exercises, as well as how long you should be following these movements in your program. Let's go. So what you might want to consider doing first is starting with a basic cable pull down at the gym to kind of give you an opportunity to learn how to use your lats more effectively. Your lats are those big kind of V-shaped muscles in your back, which are one of the prime movers in the chin up. So I want you to think whenever you're doing a chin up or a pulling motion is to pull with the elbow. So you want to pretend that your hand is a hook, and you're not just pulling with your arm or your bicep, you're thinking pulling with the elbow. And by thinking pulling with the elbow and squeezing your armpit, it's gonna allow you to really feel that lat muscle working. I would suggest starting off with some light weight, just really going through the motion and trying to push that elbow back and down and kind of scooping that handle down towards the ribs to really feel that engaging, because that is the prime mover in the chin up. So before you even attempt going to the chin up bar, get used to engaging that lat muscle using the cable. So the most common first step that most people take is to do band assisted chin ups. I'm not a huge fan of this. The reason being is because when we put our knee or our foot in and we go to do the chin up, that band is stretched out fully at the bottom position of the movement. And the reason I don't like that is because those first few inches of the movement, when we're at a dead hang, so when we're trying to pull ourselves up from this bottom position here, that tends to be the hardest part for most people. If you want to get stronger in that portion of the movement, you don't want to give yourself a ton of assistance. I want you to get stronger at that part. So instead of using the band, I like kind of using the TRX to do what's called seated chin-ups. If you don't have access to a TRX, you could simply set up a barbell on a squat rack and do the exact same movement. The only reason I love the TRX for this is it tends to feel better on the joints and the elbows for most people. So I'm here, I get into a seated position, my biceps are towards my ears, I pull my chest up to the ceiling by pushing my elbows down to the floor, and I go down in a smooth, controlled motion. I could dictate how much assistance I get from my legs by either pushing a lot with my legs or not so much. Here, I can make it more challenging by walking my feet forward, keep my legs a little bit more straight, doing the same movement. I could even take it a step further by elevating my feet on a bench so I'm pulling more of my body weight. Once we've done the seated variation, we practice what's called eccentrics. And eccentric is just the lowering portion of the chin up. So you can do one of two things. You could either jump to the top of the chin up bar and then just focus on lowering yourself slowly, or you can get a box or a stepper and just simply step onto it so you're at that top position, whatever you have access to in your gym. So from here, I'm gonna get into my grip here. I jump up to the top, and then I go really slow on the way down, focusing on good controlled tempo, trying to fight gravity until my arms are fully straight. Getting stronger at just the lowering portion of the chin up gives us more strength. It trains force absorption. It trains tendon and ligament strength, and it also gets us stronger eventually to be able to pull ourselves up into the chin up. Common mistake that people make when they're practicing eccentrics is they'll get up to the top, they'll go really slow for the first little bit, and then they just plop down. Going back to that band assisted version that I showed you at the beginning, remember the weakest part for most people is those first few inches from the bottom, right? They can't quite seem to pull themselves up when their arms are straight. So it's really important when you're doing these eccentrics is to really take your time throughout the entire range of motion and really try to fight gravity, especially as your arms are almost fully extended there. After we practice eccentrics, we do what's called isometrics or pauses at the top. So again, I'm gonna step or jump up to the top position, and I'm gonna practice holding myself anywhere from about 15 to 20 seconds at the top, and then going nice and slow all the way down to the bottom. After we practice that hold at the top, Then we can start incorporating some actual full chin-ups when we're starting from a dead hang position and then pulling ourselves up and then all the way down. The first one is the hardest one that you can get. Once you've gotten your first chin-up, it's all about repetition, repetition, repetition. In terms of programming, everyone's gonna respond differently to these. I would suggest trying to follow each of these methods. So you're starting off practicing with the cable pulley, really focusing on dialing in on those lats, learning that mind-muscle connection with the back for a few weeks. Then you're going to the seated TRX version, practicing that for a few weeks, maybe a couple times a week. Then you're going into the eccentrics, where you're focusing on good slow controlled lowering, anywhere between maybe 3 to 5 reps for about 3 to 5 sets, as slow as you can go on the way down. For a few weeks after that, then you do isometrics, where holding and pausing at the top for anywhere between 12 to maybe 20 seconds for 1 rep, doing maybe 3 to 5 sets total. After that, then you can try to do your first chin up. Give it a shot, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and thanks for watching.